thanks for watching today. I'm going to be making some pumpkin, cream cheese, chocolate chip muffins for fall. How delicious does that sound? I got this recipe off Pinterest and I will link it down below because it was an awesome recipe. First, I'm taking a can of pumpkin and opening it with a can opener. And before I did that, I preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now there is definitely more than enough pumpkin in here for this amount of muffins. You could probably make muffins like 4 times with this amount of pumpkin, or more, honestly. I only had to buy 3 ingredients for this recipe that we didn't already have, and that was the can of pumpkin and a block of cream cheese and the mini chocolate chips. So there was enough pumpkin and enough chocolate chips left to make the recipe another time at the end. So if you just wanted to pick up 2 blocks of cream cheese, then you could make the entire recipe twice. So that's kind of nice. So I'm just measuring out half a cup of pumpkin and then half a cup again. And then you can see me putting the rest of the pumpkin into a container to store in the fridge. I think it's not good to leave aluminum cans in the fridge once they've been opened. I think something from the can maybe seeps into the food. I'm not 100% sure. But I just put it into a glass container, as you can see. So next, I'm taking a 1/4 cup of white sugar and adding it to the pumpkin. And then I'm taking half a cup of brown sugar and making sure I pack it down. And then adding that as well. And you will see me touch the food with my hands kind of a lot, but don't worry, the muffins were just for me. If I was making them for you, I would be more careful. So I'm just mixing all of that together. It still looks pretty pumpkin-y at this point. And now I am adding a half a cup of vegetable oil to that mixture. I'm doing a 1/4 cup twice just for the efficiency of my measuring cups and not having to wash them before using them again for the rest of the recipe. So 2 eggs, crack them in, make sure there's no shell. I was pretty good at that this time. I don't think I got any shell in at all. And then I add a teaspoon of vanilla, again so that I don't use my teaspoon and then have to wash it. I just put the vanilla in the cap and said that's good enough. So now I'm mixing all that in. Mix, mix, mix. I typically don't love everything pumpkin, but I will give a spoiler and say that these muffins were so good. I honestly found that they tasted quite a bit like carrot cake. So if you don't love pumpkin, but you like carrot cake, that's that's kind of what these muffins tasted like. So then I have my mini chocolate chips. Mini is key. They can't just be regular chocolate chips. It won't be the same. So I'm pouring out roughly half a cup and mixing it in to this mixture here. So satisfying to watch. Next, I'm adding 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, or white flour, unbleached flour, whatever flour that you would use normally for making muffins. Adding that in to the bowl now. I'm adding a teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm adding 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. Along with a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. So I think that this might be what makes it taste kind of like carrot cake. Those spices I think can be used in carrot cake as well. And I'm just mixing that all together. And it says to mix it until it's just combined, so you don't want to over mix it. Just make sure everything is all mixed together. How excited are you guys that it's starting to feel a little bit like fall? I'm super excited. Fall is my favorite season. So beautiful with the leaves changing color. The air starts to get cooler. So I'm taking my package of cream cheese and dumping that into a separate bowl. And this cream cheese should be at room temperature. And then I'm adding another 1/4 cup of white sugar to the cream cheese and 1 more egg. Again, making sure there's no shell and there wasn't. Nice. And it says a tablespoon of milk. I only had almond milk, so I just put a tablespoon of water and it turned out fine. So I didn't really want that almondy taste that you sometimes get. Then it was another teaspoon of vanilla. Then I mix all that together, and it's quite lumpy, I guess, in the end, but it turned out fine. It doesn't have to be completely dissolved, the cream cheese, anyway, so it still turned out fine when I baked it. So then the recipe said to add some spoonfuls of the cream cheese mixture into the pumpkin mixture and kind of like just mix it around so that there is some cream cheese mixture evenly throughout the pumpkin mixture. But it was kind of hard to not get the cream cheese mixture and the pumpkin mixture to all blend together. So what I kind of did, and this would be my recommendation if you want to make this recipe yourself, would be, like, at the end, I finally realized that this would be a better idea, to just take a scoop of the pumpkin mixture and then a scoop of the cream cheese mixture, and put them into the same little muffin hole. And that would have worked a lot better. So it's personal preference. And then using an ice cream scoop also worked really well. However, I will say that I did not pay close enough attention to the recipe, because if I did, I would have known that this recipe makes 24 muffins. So for me, it only made 12, which I thought would be a disaster. I realized that once they went in the oven and it was too late. I thought it would be a disaster, but it actually wasn't. They just needed to bake for a little bit longer, and they turned out fine, and they're really big, so I guess it's more just like a muffin that you would get at a coffee shop, one that's a little bit bigger, more substantial. I had one of these muffins with a coffee for breakfast, and it was like the perfect amount of food for breakfast. So, not that that's healthy, but it was good, that's for sure. So then I'm taking about another half a cup of chocolate chips, and I'm sprinkling them over the top of the muffins so that it's nice and chocolatey. It's just how we like it. And I think that the muffins ended up having quite a few chocolate chips per muffin, since that amount of chocolate chips was supposed to be for 24 muffins. But it went on 12 of mine instead. But that's fine. It was honestly perfect for how chocolatey I like it. And they look like they're going to be so good. So it's time to put them into the oven. The recipe said about 18 to 22 minutes to bake them. But since I made 12 instead of 24, I think mine were in for about 22 minutes. And then I took them out to check them after 22 minutes. And I stuck in my little cake tester, and it came out dry, so they were done. And they look amazing. They smelled amazing. They made the whole house smell like fall. So I love that. So then I just let them sit in the muffin tin for a couple minutes. And then I took them out and set them on a cooling rack to cool. And I let them cool for just a few minutes before I decided to try one. Could not resist. Honestly, this typical recipe, it might seem straightforward to some, but for me, it definitely seemed challenging for me personally. I really didn't have a lot of faith in myself that they were going to turn out good. Honestly, I was very, very surprised that they did. So if I can do it, you can do it. It really wasn't hard at all. I would say it took like maybe 20 minutes for me to prepare all the ingredients, and then another 22 minutes for them to bake. So under 45 minutes. That's not too bad for making a dessert. Especially if they ended up making 24, then that's pretty good bang for your buck there in terms of time and how many muffins you get. Still good with 12. But I think with how good they are, and there's only 12, I'm going to have to be making them again really soon. They just look so good to me. I really want to have one right now. Oh my gosh, how good does that look? Yum. So I cut it in half. I mean, it's a little more maybe aesthetically pleasing. You can see the inside, but the real reason that I cut it in half was because I was really wanting to try one and they were still really hot, so I knew it would cool faster that way. So how good does it look? And yeah, if you're not a huge pumpkin fan, I'm not sure if you'd like it. To me, it just tasted like carrot cake, and it has the cream cheese bits, like how carrot cake has cream cheese icing. So it was like delicious to me, honestly, so good. And this is me trying my first bite, thinking it's not going to be that good, thinking there's no way I could make a good muffin. And then I get a really, really pleasant surprise that is actually delicious and a great recipe. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon.